So for our next example, I think we have probably time for, if we go quick, we probably have time for maybe half of this, or I'll just demo the second half or whatever. We'll see how we do. So this is the technique number 2 I put over here. I'm using the same brick, but you can see that this is a slightly different workflow. It still comes up with a brick wall, but this is what I would consider a better workflow. So, with this brick, I am choosing between a red brick, an orange brick, and a gray brick. And I'm switching between these guys with the switch saw. Let me show you guys that, it's really cool. Okay, so I use this point saw to make it red. Okay, so I didn't put any expressions in here or anything. I just made it red, that's it. And it's just a single brick too. Okay? In this one, I did the same thing, but it's orange. Okay? And in this one over here, it's of course gray. Now, if I were to plug all of these into the switch saw, okay, I get the first one by default, which is red. Now, given the parameters, the many parameters of this switch saw, which parameter should I adjust to make it the second input? Wake up. Okay, so there's one parameter. Let's adjust it. Okay. See? So adjusting this, it switches between its inputs. It seems like simple, like why would you even need a node like that? Why don't you just use that? But keep in mind that this is procedural. So a simple node like this can be used to do cool procedural things like switch on the fly. All right. So if I wanted to put in instead of a brick, I wanted to put in a sphere instead. All right. So I want the gray ones to be spheres. All right. So it's just switching, and then it's either picking a red or orange brick, but it's picking a gray sphere. All right. Cool. All right. So simple nodes can pay huge dividends later. That was the first reaction that I had when I saw a delete SOP. I'm like, always used to selecting polygons by hand and trying to do particle effects in Max with like selecting stuff and like, oh my god, they have a procedural node that deletes polygons. It means that I can delete something over here, and then when the effect changes, other things get deleted. Simple nodes like that will really be useful for effects. Okay, so that's the switch SOP. Very useful. All right, now on the copy, I have something going into the second input. With copying, you can do like transformations in this right here, in the node itself, but generally that's not the way people use it, unless it's for something extremely simple like a brick wall. Okay, generally people want to be a little more abstract. They want to be able to make a copy of, you know, a brick wall or a round brick wall, or you know, who knows what. So here, if I do a sphere and I change this to a polygon sphere, I'm going to get a lot of points on it. See all these points here? And I plug this into the other half of my copy bricks, look what I get. All right. Or let's say we did a circle. Once again, a polygon circle, so it has vertices. All right, look at that. We could even do a copy of the brick using the brick's own points. Okay? So anything that we plug into this input, all right, it's going to put a copy of that object, or not object, a copy of that geometry on that point. You see how that works? You can see where that's a little bit more powerful than the method we were using, right? Okay.
Only points, or we can choose face as well?
We cannot choose faces, no. This only functions for points. However, we could scatter points on the faces and use that. Okay. If we wanted that to be oriented, we'd have to have normals on it. There we go. Okay. A lot of. Wouldn't want to get hit with this thing, would you? Thing to drop on your toe or something. Okay. So, what I'm going to do to make a brick wall. Now, of course, we're going to want to try this stuff out, like try out your sphere and your circle and things like that. Try to make them polygons and plug your brick into it. Okay. But I reproduced the same thing we already did, just to show that there's two different approaches to the same thing. Okay, so here I start with a line. And if you want to view the points, it's this blue button right here. Okay, so I start with a line, and I just gave it like the number of copies that we'd eventually want. Okay, so it's just like how we started with bricks earlier. We're starting with a line this time. So I'm doing the same thing. I'm moving it up and over, merging it back together with itself. Now I've got two lines. Okay. Now I've got a vertical line over here, and I'm copying this vertical line on these lines. Okay, so using this vertical line, these are going to get copied. Boom. Now, for our bricks, we can assemble a brick wall that way. Okay. Now you don't have to do this. This is, I think, a little bit too much for today, but I do want you guys to try out like a sphere and a circle and try a few lines and stuff and just kind of see what you can get to go. Okay. I think we're going to have a good 15 minutes at the end where we can show how to switch between these various colors and types here as well.